Ever booked a dream vacation, only to find out it's your worst nightmare? Imagine the excitement, the anticipation, the joy of finally getting away from the daily grind. You plan every detail meticulously, envisioning the perfect getaway. But what if, instead of relaxation and fun, you find yourself plunged into a chilling, spine-tingling experience that you could never have imagined in your wildest dreams? The Anderson family, excited for their first cruise, boarded a luxurious ship with high hopes. Tom, Claire, and their two children, Ethan and Mia, had been looking forward to this trip for months. They had heard wonderful things about the cruise line, the amenities, the destinations. It was supposed to be the vacation of a lifetime, a chance to bond as a family and create unforgettable memories. But Claire felt uneasy, as if echoes of past passengers lingered. From the moment she stepped on board, she couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. The ship was beautiful, yes, but there was an undercurrent of something sinister. Something she couldn't quite put her finger on. She tried to brush it off, attributing it to pre-vacation jitters, but the feeling persisted. The first night, Mia saw a figure at her bed. She woke up in the middle of the night, her heart pounding, and there it was, a shadowy figure standing at the foot of her bed. She blinked, hoping it was just her imagination, but the figure remained. She wanted to scream, but fear paralyzed her. She pulled the covers over her head, praying it would go away. Ethan joked about ghost passengers, but Mia wasn't laughing. The next morning, when Mia told her family about the figure, Ethan laughed it off, teasing her about ghost stories and haunted ships. But Mia's fear was real, and Claire couldn't help but feel a pang of concern. She had felt something strange too, and Mia's experience only heightened her unease. The next day, strange things happened. It started with small, inexplicable occurrences. Objects seemed to move on their own. Doors creaked open without any apparent cause, and there was an eerie chill in the air that seemed to follow them wherever they went. The Andersons tried to enjoy the activities and amenities the ship had to offer, but the unsettling events cast a shadow over their fun. Tom saw an old man vanish by the pool, and Claire noticed portraits in the art gallery seemed to move. Tom was lounging by the pool when he saw an elderly man standing at the edge, staring out at the sea. He looked away for a moment, and when he looked back, the man was gone. It was as if he had vanished into thin air. Meanwhile, Claire was exploring the ship's art gallery when she noticed something strange about the portraits. The eyes seemed to follow her, and she could have sworn she saw one of the figures move. At dinner, the ship groaned, the lights flickered, and a woman whispered, "It's happening again." The dining room was filled with the sounds of clinking silverware and cheerful conversation. But suddenly, the ship let out a low, ominous groan. The lights flickered, casting eerie shadows on the walls. Claire heard a woman at a nearby table whisper to her companion, "It's happening again." The words sent a chill down her spine. What was happening again? What had happened before? That night, their cabin turned freezing. Despite the warm weather outside, the temperature in their cabin plummeted. They huddled under blankets, shivering, but the cold seemed to seep into their very bones. It was an unnatural cold, one that felt almost malevolent. They tried to call the front desk, but the phone line was dead. They were isolated, trapped in their freezing cabin with no way to reach out for help. Mia and Ethan saw a woman in the doorway, and knocking sounds came from everywhere. As they lay in bed, trying to stay warm, they heard a soft knock at the door. Ethan got up to check, but when he opened the door, there was no one there. He closed it and returned to bed, but the knocking continued, growing louder and more insistent. Mia saw a woman standing in the doorway, her face pale and expressionless. She blinked, and the woman was gone, but the knocking persisted, echoing through the corridors. The final night, the cabin door creaked open. They had barely slept the previous nights, and by the final night, they were exhausted and on edge. As they lay in bed, the door to their cabin slowly creaked open. They stared in horror as it swung wide, revealing the dark, empty hallway beyond. They could hear whispers, faint and indistinct, but filled with a sense of urgency and dread. Whispers filled the air. "You shouldn't be here." The whispers grew louder, filling the room with a cacophony of voices. "You shouldn't be here," they said over and over. The words seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. The Andersons huddled together, their hearts pounding, as the voices swirled around them. They felt an overwhelming sense of dread, as if they were intruding on something ancient and malevolent. Huddled together, they endured till morning. They clung to each other, seeking comfort in their shared fear. The night seemed to stretch on forever, each minute an eternity. They could do nothing but wait, hoping that the dawn would bring an end to the nightmare. When the first light of morning finally filtered through the porthole, they felt a glimmer of hope. The whispers faded, and the oppressive atmosphere lifted, but the fear lingered. When they disembarked, Claire saw the pale crew member watching them. As they left the ship, eager to put the experience behind them, Claire noticed a crew member standing by the gangway. He was pale and gaunt, with hollow eyes that seemed to bore into her soul. He watched them intently, his expression unreadable. Claire felt a shiver run down her spine. Who was he? And what did he know about the horrors they had experienced? The Andersons never spoke of it again. Once they were back on solid ground, they tried to return to their normal lives. They didn't talk about what had happened on the cruise, each of them dealing with the trauma in their own way. The memories haunted them, but they kept them locked away, afraid that speaking of it would somehow bring the terror back. The cruise line? Out of business. Not long after the Andersons' trip, the cruise line went out of business. Rumors swirled about why it had shut down. Some said it was due to financial troubles, but others whispered about the strange occurrences on board, the hauntings that had driven passengers away. The ship was left to rust in a forgotten dock, a ghostly reminder of the horrors that had taken place. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more videos. If you enjoyed this chilling tale, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and stay tuned for more stories that will send shivers down your spine. Until next time, stay safe and beware of the unknown.